Welcome into Mike Chuck. We are season 3. I think this is episode 7. Feel like 7. We've done 7 of these this year. We're kind of on. We're on like this nice path here.
Yeah, we got a nice groove going right now. And we were both at Metros on Saturday. You said I wasn't going to be there, but I was there.
Yeah, I didn't think you were going to be there.
Yeah,
So
I showed up and I was there for a while.
yeah, you were. I was impressed. I was like, whoa, like this dude actually showed up to something he said he was going to be at.
I like watching good wrestling.
Was it good?
There's some good wrestling.
There was some good.
That 113 match was awesome.
That was awesome. That was a really good match. So it was
Our
yeah.
guest kind of put on the show too.
Yeah, our guest tonight definitely put on a show. He likes to do that though. So that's what he likes to do.
Yeah.
I mean at the Scut Duel I made a real cover and I believe it says Adonis.
I mean that's pretty fair. I mean he's got some frequent flyer miles for sure.
Yeah, well, his opponents.
Well, he's sending them.
Yeah. All right, so let's break down the show. We'll have Creighton Prep senior Adonis Bonar joining us tonight, talk about prep and his season and probably talk some, why Cal Baptist, stuff like that, right? Like probably have a nice conversation with Adonis, who's had a nice year. And then we will bring in, it's Drew Kastler's turn to.
Did you forget his last? You forgot his last name.
No, I did not.
You forgot his last name.
I did not. I was just trying to slow down. So we'll bring in Drew from NEWrestle to close out the show. He was in Schuyler. So we have 2 kind of big tournaments to talk about. And then I'm sure we'll talk about some other things. So let's just get started right away with Adonis Bonar II. What's up,
guys?
Adonis?
What's going on?
So, Adonis, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
But last week we talked about, okay, prep, the Metro tournament, preps, the team to beat. And then I was like, well, I don't know, Miller South might, be there. And then we were kind of like, who else could maybe, whatever. Yeah. And I believe it was Cody that said, nah, it's going to be like 100 points. And it was about 100 points.
Yeah, it was about 100 points.
It was a lot.
Yeah. So, one, just I guess talk about the team this year. You clearly have seen you wrestle a couple times this year, and I was at the Scut Duel and then Metro tournament. But you clearly are the leader and the senior leader of this team. Yes, there's a lot of young guys that kind of look to you for advice. I mean, I saw firsthand JT Smith after his match at Metro, his final match. You went up to him and was like, hey, like, you gave him a few pointers and things, which I thought was pretty cool. And the fact that he just kind of like looked at you, respected you. Mm-hmm. What's it taken and what's gone into that leadership role for you?
I think definitely, coming into prep my freshman year, I didn't really know anybody. And being there, I had those same guys. I had his name's Christian Grazer. He kind of was that person for me. And I saw the opportunity to do that my junior year when Kobe Streeter, his mom texted my mom to ask to give him rides to practices and stuff. So I kind of started building up from that. And kind of just like being in the room with those guys every day too, just seeing what we do and like kind of embracing it all together. I think it puts me in a great position to be able to like help these guys, these younger guys, and, just lead the team, just try and set an example for everybody and just go out there and just handle business and, show them what Creighton Prep's about.
How special is this for your senior season? I mean, you guys have a just awesome team. It's pretty cool. And you're the guy.
Yeah. Definitely, coming into prep, I didn't really have the best pass. I was struggling with things. And it kind of came around full circle because I had a lot of people tell me I wouldn't be able to do all these things I'm doing now. And I think it's just kind of like God just putting me in the right place at the right time, and it just all happening like it was supposed to happen, Just having all these guys and knowing I'm about to go out with a bang. That's the plan. It makes me feel good about myself, and I don't want it just to end now. I want it to continue to go through. You know what I mean? I want it to continue till who knows when my brothers are there too.
Yeah, your faith is pretty important to you.
Yeah. Sure.
Why is that? Is it because of kind of the struggles you've had, or why is your faith important to you?
Yeah. So I mean, I've always been a part of a family that has a strong faith, and I think through all the trials and tribulations I've been through, God definitely has shown me that this is my destiny and this is what I'm made for. Kind of just like I got into a bad place with him. I was really close to my aunt. She passed away, and I kind of like went down a bad path with him. And then just one time I broke my hip, and I opened my Bible, and it was my first time since I opened my Bible since my aunt had passed away. And the Bible verse I opened up to is Romans 8:18. It says, "The sufferings you are feeling now can't compare to the joy he will reveal to us." And I kind of was like in that moment, I was like, he's real. You know what I mean? I had like that back in my mind, like God's not real. No, he's real. And ever since then, I just put my trust in him, and he shows himself to myself every day. You know what I mean? I pray every day. I think about God every day. Everything I do is just, it's kind of just like he's put me in this position, and I got to give the glory to him. My dad started a ministry as well, Uncomfortable Ministries, and kind of like, just going through all those things, and God's brought me to where I am because it's where I need to be. And without him, I wouldn't be where I am now, to be completely honest with you.
I love how he just slipped in. Yeah, I broke my hip. That's how you know wrestlers are tough. Yeah, I broke my hip, and then started reading the Bible, and here we are.
Yeah.
So you've got a pretty close relationship to Cade Ziola as well.
Mm-hmm.
What's your guys' relationship? Do you guys bounce each other ideas off of each other? Tell us a little bit about that relationship.
I mean, yeah, I kind of became friends with Cade my freshman year when he went to Scut. Then he was still at the Best Wrestler at the time, but him and I would like start training together, during the summer my freshman year, and then he came over to MWC. And then just from that point on, like he's like one of my really good friends. I talk to him quite often. I mean, we hang out, and just kind of just iron sharpens iron. I mean, I kind of think that's kind of what it is. And we really never got to a point like where we didn't train with each other. Like every practice I'm with him. Like, that's just what it is. I mean? I don't really, because he's the one he's really pushed me, and I try to push him, and in the room it's just kind of like we just scrap. He's not afraid to scrap with me. I'm not afraid to scrap with him, and we just get after it, and then we're like best friends at the end of the day. I mean, we may be fist fighting in the room sometimes, but then there'll be times, right after we're hugging each other, dancing in the room, just having a good time. So our relationship, I think, it's very good. Kind of what you need to have as a partner, what I mean? And the same thing with everybody else at Prep too. I mean? It's kind of just like a relationship that I've always wanted to have, and we have that one.
Is first time I saw you wrestle was 3 years ago, Fargo, I believe.
Yeah.
3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And the growth that you've had as a wrestler since then has been pretty tremendous.
Yeah.
Like, why? How?
I definitely think, once again, that relationship with God, surrounding myself with the people I'm around now, Cade, Rowan, I mean, my dad, just the people I'm all surrounded by, I mean, they want to see me succeed. There's nobody that wants to be like, I don't want Adonis to do this. I don't want Adonis to do this. Everybody wants, I want Adonis to do this. You know what I mean? I think just being around the people I'm around, they all support me, and they all want what's best for me. And there's no situation I'm ever in where I don't trust them, especially my coaches, you know what I mean? And then I have my father as well. My dad's really, ever since I was a little kid, he's always told me I'm special. You know what I mean? I'm a unique person. There's not many people that can do what I do. And, just having that, him being in my corner when he's with me, I just feel invincible. You know what I mean? And also the coaching, I mean, my partners, everybody wants to get better, and I kind of started surrounding myself with like-minded people. And once I started doing it, I think that's when I started making jumps, because everybody wants to be the best. And it kind of creates a competition between each other. You know what I mean? And I think you kind of need that. And it's a healthy relationship between the competitions and stuff. But I definitely think surrounding the people I'm around now, and just having the coaches I have, my family, God, the most important, just really, it all comes together, and it's really helped me over the last 3 years.
How many times have you hit Rowan with that headlock?
2 or 3 times. It actually happened recently. So we were at practice. We were doing a grind match, and he caught me in one. And you can ask him too. I got really upset because nobody headlocks me. You know what I mean? It's kind of like my own thing, and I had to send one on him, and I got him. But dude. Rowan's just a freak of nature, man. You know, he's the one that's just chilling on the wall, telling us what to do, and then he gets up and just kicks our butts, man. It's pretty tough sometimes. But he's also, I think, you know, having him beat up on me the last 4 years, I think definitely he has helped me make tremendous jumps. And he's like I tell my dad this all the time. He's a coach. He's like an older brother. He's like another father to me. You know what I mean? He's like my best friend. My dad's my best friend, and he's one of them too. You know what I mean? I think having him, he's definitely changed my life for sure, because, you know, coming out of my situation through middle school, I really only felt like I had my family, and him and Coach Fisher really showed me that they believed in me, and they're a part of my family now. They'll always be, you know, have a special place in my heart, and they'll always be a part of my family as well.
So Cal Baptist, why Cal Baptist? Why did you decide to go there?
So, I mean, recruitment was kind of like here and there. You know, I was getting recruited by a lot of schools, and, you know, I kind of was really focused on growing my relationship with God. That's the one thing my dad really wanted me to do. And, you know, as I'm making steps as well, as I went out there, you know, the coach reached out to me around January last year. Started talking to him, and him and I, like every call, his name's Coach Morrow, his name's Eric Morrow. It's about a 2-hour call every time because we're just chopping it up. You know what I mean? I felt like he was another Rowan for me, to be completely honest with you. You know what I mean? He has that same vibe, just same vibe to him. Really nice guy, really funny. And then I went out there, and I had already taken a couple visits, and I went out there, and I was just like, kind of like in awe, to be honest with you. It fits my vibe, you know, the way they dress, the way everybody is just chill. They don't want to go out and do a lot of stuff. They're kind of just like, they all just want to be together and just chill, hang out. And just being in that practice room, you know, it's honestly like a prep room. You know what I mean? They're building a new facility right now. And it was really just like really fun just watching them all get together, and they were all scrapping, having fun, dancing. Katy Perry's bumping. That's like my favorite thing to listen to before I wrestle and stuff. So I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And then so I think it was my second day, we went to their chapel, and just being in that vicinity where I have a bunch of other believers next to me, you know what I mean? It kind of like made me feel like I was at home. That's where I needed to be. And I haven't said this yet, but I'm not perfect with my relationship with God either. I still make my mistakes, you know, and I want to continue to grow with that, you know what I mean? And just continue to chase him as much as possible. And, you know, and to be honest with you, once I graduate from college, I really want to become a pastor probably, and help little kids as well. You know what I mean? And just like go help other athletes as well, grow their relationship with God too. I think just being out there though, the faith base, the coaches were great. You know, the kids, everybody was there was a really solid guy. You know what I mean? They didn't like messing around. Like they messed around, they had fun, but when it was time to be serious, it was serious. And I mean, it's California, you know what I mean? Like you can't really go wrong with Cali, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Fargo didn't really end the way you wanted it to last year. Do we have any plans for a revenge tour this year?
You know me, baby. Come on now. I gotta go out to bed again. You know what I mean? I definitely think, you know, part of it, that cut for Vegas was really tough on my body. I cut 22 pounds, and I'm taking all these visits while I'm doing it. And it took me, you know, I was really, I think I got down to like 8% body fat, and I was like really lean and skinny. And the night before my freestyle heartbreak round, it was against the number 13 ranked dude in the country at the time at 175 pounds. I had to go cut 4.5 kilos. And, you know, they said they had a sauna. So I go to this gym, and there was no sauna. And I was like, man. So I ran off 11 pounds in about an hour and a half. You know, I just gunned it. And I woke up the next morning, had to cut weight again. And then after that, I kind of was just like really focused on my family, knowing I leave this year. You know what I mean? I kind of was like trying to be with my family, trying to do all these things. And I really wasn't focused on myself, and which I'm not really, I don't regret anything I was doing at the time. You know what I mean? I was trying to be with everybody, you know, and I went out there, and it definitely showed in my wrestling. I had a lot of flaws that I needed to work on. And it wasn't necessarily like I was missing something. It was more like I need to work harder. You know what I mean? I got to focus on myself. There's got to be times where, you know, you got to focus on yourself, and just, you know, to be the best, you have to be different. You know what I mean? And I have to change that up a little bit, and I had to start focusing on myself for a little bit. And when I have time, then I get to go do stuff with my family. Then I have to do this stuff. You know what I mean? I think that was definitely the mindset. And, going into this year, I really want to get another stop sign. You know what I mean? I got it back there. You know what I mean? I won another one of them. And it was definitely one of the coolest moments of my life for sure.
We want one of the big ones though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. We want one of those ones. One of those ones right there. Yeah.
Why do you think you, I guess, gravitated more? You're kind of more of a Greco guy. Why is that? What goes into one's sort of decision to be, I think this is kind of what I'm a little better at?
So ever since I was a kid, man, I really just
like throwing people around?
Love throwing people. And when I was in third grade, I went from BJSA, and then I went to Zach Dominguez, Greco, you know what I mean? Yeah. And just watching all those guys in there just scrapping, wrestling Greco, throwing each other, I was like, oh yeah, I want to do this. And then as I started to progress throughout my career, I think I won my first kids national title in Greco. Then I won freestyle. Then I won Greco again. And it's always just kind of been like a thing where I've always just been better at Greco. And just kind of like I fall in love with it. You know what I mean? It's just like it's like always had a place in my heart. You know what I mean? I love throwing people. And another thing too is it's like you really can't dodge an opponent in a Greco match. Like you have to be going forward. That's the one thing I don't like about freestyle and folk style. Is sometimes I feel like guys don't want to scrap with me, but Greco, you have no choice. You know what I mean? I like embracing the fight and just staying in there and just really just embracing the ugly. You know what I mean? I just like being in there just scrapping. That's why I love wrestling so much.
Well, that kind of took away my next question. I was getting ready to ask you what wrestling meant to you, but you kind of took it from me there.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, wrestling is just it's changed my life. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it's hard to put into words because it's really been my getaway for a long time. Definitely a big part in my life. Ever since my aunt passed away, it's really been a part of my life, and kind of just it's my everyday thing. You know what I mean? God just showed me it's my destiny. I just love being in the room, having a good time, and just scrapping. You know what I mean? That's what I love to do. And I wouldn't say I like pain, you know what I mean? Like practices suck sometimes, but I like just knowing that, man, I'm going through this and not a lot of people can do this. And I like being odd. You know what I mean? I like being different. And definitely just being in that room and just wrestling every day, it's kind of just like it just became a part of me. You know what I mean? And it's really just changed my life drastically, and it just continues to do the same thing every day. I mean, I just love it, and it'll always have a place in my heart no matter where I go.
All right, one last one here for you before we let you out of here. Prep is, as a team, is the prohibitive favorite, right? Mm-hmm. How do you guys just stay sharp kind of every day? I mean, the room is what it is. It's very talented, especially at the lower weights are like, they're ridiculously good. So, but how do you guys stay sharp every day, knowing that, hey, now you went from like hunting the last couple of years, and now you're the hunted this year?
I definitely think taking care of our bodies is the biggest part. You know what I mean? We scrap in the room. You know what I mean? And I think, and it's another thing I preach to the little guys too, is just like maintaining. You know what I mean? Don't take it too serious. I think that was one of the big things that helped me jump. Is I used to be so hard on myself, and some of the little guys, they still do it. I just try to have fun now. You know what I mean? It's all about having fun, just embracing the moment, because, these moments aren't forever. You know what I mean? And I think just being in there, they just started embracing that, and they're just like, man, I'm just trying to have fun. And ever since then, those little guys have been taking big jumps. You know what I mean? And especially with Miles, I mean, this weekend he had a tough loss, with Brady. And the one thing he told me is like, man, I don't even care about that. Just like you told me, man, just have fun. And I had fun out there. I think that's one of the biggest things is we're all just trying to have fun and not really take it too serious. We know we're the hunted right now. We know we got a target on our back. That just makes us want to work harder. And it gives us like a sense of joy at the same time to know that like people are coming after us. And it's a big responsibility, but knowing that we have that responsibility, it's just like a good feeling, you know what I mean? And it kind of just makes us all want to work harder and just do our thing, you know what I mean? It doesn't really put that much pressure on us. It kind of just gives us more of like a opportunity to show who we really are against guys. And yeah, I mean, that's just the major part, is just taking care of ourselves and just having fun out there on the mat and scrapping.
All right, man. Appreciate your time.
For sure.
And we'll we'll for sure see you down the road. I'm sure.
For sure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Have a good one.
That was Adonis Bonar. That is a very mature senior in high school.
I'll tell you what. I thought some of the interviews we've had this year were going to be really tough to top, but
that was up
man,
there.
Man, what a great kid.
Yeah,
what a great kid. Comes from a great family too. His dad's an awesome guy.
Yeah, Dad always just says he sticks his hand out. How you doing, sir? Every time I see him, I'm like, we could have a conversation. No, super nice. Adonis, he's obviously overcome a lot, mentally, and what a cool story. It's a cool story. It's cool to see him lead. Watching him, I brought up to him, watching him kind of just take that role has been pretty cool to see, because you can really tell that he has everyone in the room's attention, and everyone on the team kind of looks up to him.
And then, I remember watching him when he was in youth wrestling too. And I'm like, man, this little fat kid's pretty tough. And then he's not a little fat kid anymore. He's a dude.
Yeah.
He's a dude. And it's been really cool to see his journey. He wrestled Drayshawn Ross when we went and saw him in Fargo.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he won it, then had a setback last year. And I think he's got a shot at winning it again this year.
Yeah, I would think so. All right, let's bring in our friend Drew, which I don't know his last name, I guess, according to you. So.
You forgot it.
No, I did not. Are you kidding me?
I hope he gives us a thumbs up.
Texas dude all the time. And I clearly know his last name.
It doesn't mean you have his last name saved in your phone. You forgot it, pal.
You want me to show it to you? I will show you.
No, I don't want Drew's personal information out here.
No, I won't do that. I'm smart enough to do that, to not do that. It's right there. Last name. Right there.
You do have it in there. I'm impressed.
God, what do you think I am? All right.
I'm going to go ahead and say this, though, is that I really hope the Metro tournament changes next year.
For what?
It was really rough for spectating. Mats were blocked off, and they're doing the best they can.
It's also the only high school gym that they can have it in, really, that can have both of them. They can fit it into kind of one location. So I hope there's another answer. There's really nowhere else to have it. Maybe Prep, because you have the upper gym, but then.
The only thing I can think of maybe is to get rid of the duels and then to do the girls one day and the boys the next day.
Yeah, that's probably it. But people don't want to get rid of the duels, because if you get rid of the duels, then you have the dual tournament, you can't qualify, and then you got to find more duels, and then just a lot. So
set up some quads.
Yeah, pretty easy to do. All right, let's bring in Drew and talk about what we all saw this weekend. What's up, Drew?
Hey guys, how are we doing?
Drew, you did not think I forgot your last name, correct?
No, I didn't. I was going to give you a hard time about it, but Chuck's already taken care of that. So, no, I really didn't think you did.
If there's crap talking to be done, I'm going to be on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously.
Hey, I agree on Metros, but they had it at the same place last year, and they ran the girls and boys finals right next to each other on the middle two mats. So somebody made a decision this year
to move it,
to do it differently, which thankfully we had enough people there to cover both mats. But if you're one guy trying to cover the girls and the boys, then you're toast, right? Yeah,
it was hard.
Yeah,
I would tell you, just from one person's perspective that was trying to go in between the two, It was hard. But because I was at one point I was like, oh, Kayla Lyons, she's getting ready over here, and then that was the 113 match, I think, too, at the same time on the boys' mat. I was kept looking over. I'm like, oh, I can't miss this, though. And then I'm like, okay, what's that? I was kind of trying to go back and forth. It's almost like state where you're just like, okay, I got to get over there. But hopefully this match ends in time and that one doesn't end quick enough, whatever. And then literally I turned back around and Kayla Lyons is done wrestling. I'm like, crap. Like, missed
It'd
it.
be nice if they could go back to like the Sat Fieldhouse like they did that one year. They ran the boys and the girls, but it's a cost thing, you know.
Yeah, it's about
Too
money.
expensive.
Yeah, it's about money.
We had a vicious snowstorm that year too.
Yeah, it was rough.
Well, and last year they did. They had Metros on Martin Luther King Day last year.
Well, I feel like Metro Duels finds a way to get snowed out most of the time.
Almost
anyway.
every year, yeah.
And all right, Drew, you were in
Schuyler.
You were in Schuyler, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty fun, right?
It was a lot of fun. 10 out of 14 number 1 ranked wrestlers in Class B.
Oh, wow.
At the same tournament, and you get Scott and Bennington, who are number 1 and number 2. And that makes for a pretty darn good tournament. All the number 1s won the event. The best match was probably Isaac Christo of Scott and Braden Kreichmeyer from Bennington. Kreichmeyer got a reversal with like 1 second left on the clock. It was just an exciting match. And afterwards, both of those guys are like super good sports. You know, they congratulated each other after. You know, like that could have went a lot of ways, and they handled it really well. So that was pretty sweet. Obviously, Kyler did his thing. You know, he's number 1 in the state, and he beat number 2, Rotella. Rotella fired off great shots, and I mean, Lauritzen just kind of had an answer for everything. Mm-hmm. You get to see Cade Ziola wrestle. That's always exciting. I mean, in a really well-ran tournament, they ran it on 3 mats in 1 gym, and we were all out of there by like 5 o'clock at the latest. So it was just a good day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That gym in Schuyler's pretty sweet.
It is cool. Yeah, it was an easy setup to stream, which isn't always the case. We've done Metros before, and that's always extremely difficult, especially when you have 2 gyms. And no, they were great. They were hospitable and knowledgeable about how to run a tournament. They had like 600 or 700 kids at a youth tournament the next day on Sunday, so they had 3 straight days of wrestling there.
I guess you weren't at Metros, but like, was there anything that shocked you or surprised you or anything?
I mean, yeah, there was lots of stuff. Rowan Welpgen beating Zoe Barber at 155 in the girls.
That was a heck of a match. I watched that.
I mean, you know, Rowan's had big wins before. She's no stranger to that. And, but, you know, Barber just kind of looked unbeatable. And, you know, everyone has an off day too. You know, who knows what's good, sickness, whatever. But, I mean, Rowan came out and got it done. And that was really, really cool. And kind of the same thing. You have Cam Green, the freshman, beating the seasoned senior, Kieran Mink. And I think that, you know, they have a common opponent, right? Mink beat Ben Ziola. Ziola beats Green. You think the match will go one way? Nope. So that was cool, right? Kind of, you know, the arrival of Cam Green, maybe. Kid's a stud.
That was a great match.
Yeah.
He was aggressive. He didn't back down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was.
He doesn't look like a freshman.
No. He's built a little, you know.
And I mean, you know, Kyrie Calloway, you know, kind of storming back and pinning Caniglia there late. I mean,
okay. Like, Caniglia had him on his back and lost in the second period and lost.
Yeah. Well, like, Caniglia's can turn about it. He can turn about anybody. You know, he's never out of a match. And again, but Callaway's strong and he's fast and he's, you know, probably wrestled him before in the MWC room. So, you know, you get to know somebody and their strengths and weaknesses, and that can help you out for sure.
I mean, that match, it was 9-3.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then it was 11-10, right?
11-10, and then he pinned him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That was probably the best match. Mm-hmm. Or that Barber one, that girls 155 was really good too.
Yeah. It's an exciting event. You get the 19 or 20 of the teams in Class A in one spot, well, for the boys side of things. And then you're going to have great wrestling there, and you have great wrestling in Norfolk at the Hack too, and some big matchups up there. And I mean, it's just, you know, now Cody, he has an easy job because like 30 of the 32 Class A teams all wrestled in just a total of 2 tournaments. So
everyone wrestled everybody. So now ranking it's a little easier.
It should be a little easier, right?
Results.
But then you get the stuff with Cam Green and even Rowan winning those matches, and that'll kind of make things a little difficult on the ranking side. But
yeah,
so you love to see, right? And there were a few injuries, a few kids out. Sickness this time of year is always tough, but I mean, overall, people showed up and they wrestled, and that's what you love to see. It makes you better.
I mean this in no disrespect to these guys in any way, but Cruiser Dominguez might be the best Dominguez.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Holy cow!
He's just getting started too.
I didn't say that.
Zach, I love you, brother, but Cruiser's a dude.
Yeah. Eli would kick your ass too.
Yeah, he will. It's okay.
I didn't.
And Tyson Terry, right?
Yeah, that was.
Four-time 285 champ, which has never happened before, I think. So
right,
pretty.
One of the just keeps racking up accolades, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, keeps coming. Like there's one every time he steps on the mat now is going to be a history thing, right? So it's impressive to see. I mean, he's kind of relentless too, which is fun.
Mm-hmm. Then go ahead, Chuck. All you, man.
How about Mason Peterson?
Yeah.
He's on a roll right now.
Yeah.
He beat Scotty Meyer again for the 3rd time,
and
then gets a huge pin tonight against Harrell.
Yeah.
Which everyone thought that would be a great match, but I don't think anyone thought that would end in a pin either way.
No, man. Peterson's, both of those guys wrestle nonstop. They could wrestle again and it could be a different story. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Mason has just put in a ton of work, and he kind of does it. I don't know how to say it, like on his own terms. They have the Underground Wrestling Club, and I think he trains with Nordhughes out in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, and it's not your stereotypical way to become great, and he has. So that's kind of cool to see. And there's a couple other wrestlers that participate with him in a lot of things, and you see the success they're having, like Carter Booz and Brody Jensen out of Burwell, Nebraska. So it's cool.
Yeah, Mason. The thing about him, he doesn't say anything. Like he's, he's
silent assassin.
Just goes about his business and doesn't he's not loud. He's not super flashy. He just handles.
He's a grinder.
Yeah,
just because to pin it. Harrell looked amazing at Skyler on Saturday, right? To have that match go that way is really impressive. Yeah.
And Scott beat Columbus, right?
What's that?
Scott beat Columbus, correct?
Yeah, they did. Scott won that duel, which I think they have one more duel left on their schedule, so they're pretty much good to go for state duels too, which is going to become more of a topic now as we get to the end of January. Who's going to be in and who's going to be out? Class B is kind of particularly weird this year because there's 4 teams who are rock solid in B, and then there's probably 12 others who could sneak in. So.
Has in your mind, I guess we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I think we have an idea of, Battle Creek's going to be C, but what about D? Has there been some separation there as far as teams are concerned?
No, I don't think so. Plainview beat Burwell at a tournament and over the break at Shelby Rising City, and Shelby Rising City was at that event and they were 3rd or 4th, and then Burwell just beat Plainview this past weekend. Aquinas wrestles a crazy difficult schedule, so it's kind of hard to compare. I think those are your 3, and then maybe Central Valley in Class D. And I think those guys are all in line to make the state duels. Shelby Rising City is not, and they've been dealing with some injuries and illness over there. They didn't have a lot of their better guys at Schuyler. Aquinas had most of their guys, and they look good. Aquinas, they're a small town with great wrestling. David City's been having a good year over there too. So, How about Ziola and Palmer, huh?
Oh
Oh
man,
yeah, we haven't.
I can't. I had to bring that up before I forgot about it, man. Cade is just really good at wrestling.
he's on another level.
Yeah.
He's just on another level. That guy. I mean, is he going to go down as one of the greatest ever from Nebraska?
I mean, I think so. Yeah. As far as like, Fargo finalist, Ironman champ, the only one ever, Super 32 third. I mean, he's just he's hit every national tournament, and he's placed highly in almost every single big one there is. So
the one question maybe is the 4-timer thing, right? Like,
The hard part about that
can you
is
put him in? I know. What I'm just saying, can you put him in that? Because people will be like, well, he didn't win 4.
Well, who would you stack him up against then?
I'm just
the 4-timer.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Honestly, the next, well, I mean, Kale did well, but nationally not as well as Cade.
Right.
So I think, maybe Joel Adams, but Joel wasn't a 4-timer.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, people,
Andy
not
Bicorni.
me. Yeah. What?
Andy Bicorni. He was only a 3-timer, and he was a D2 national finalist.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm going to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, people, if we have that conversation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I frankly, like, I would have loved to see what Tyson Terry could have done on a national stage.
Well, he did. He won NHSCA in Virginia Beach, like after his freshman or sophomore year.
Right, but I'm talking if he would have kept,
Oh, if he would have kept,
like Fargo, Ironman, stuff like that.
Yeah, that would have been cool, because then now you're talking about, like, because obviously if Tyson wins the state championship this year and goes undefeated, it's never been done before. It'll be the greatest heavyweight, all those things. But, like, I'm just going with this conversation here, right? I'm just throwing other names and reasons why out.
But he wrestles 3 months a year.
Right.
and so does Kyler, for that matter.
Yeah.
And holy crap. Yeah. He's really good. I mean, yeah, it's cool. It's cool to even.
Oh yeah, it's a cool conversation to have. Yeah. Like, I definitely am not the one that needs to be making those, broad statements, because I can't go back. I'm not a historian, but it's definitely a conversation that's probably worth it. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're in a really cool time for wrestling in Nebraska right now. I mean, we're really hitting new highs, and that's, you got to thank a lot of those club coaches too, and those high school coaches that are putting in time in the off season.
And even, I mean, you look at girls' part too, just the explosion of that. So you talk about cool time for Nebraska. You're at, the explosion of the sport on girls' sports side is big, and girls' basketball has dropped like 900 student athletes in the last handful of years.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
I don't think that there's like much of a correlation there, but yeah, it is.
But I'm just saying the popularity has grown. There is not a correlation between the two. People have said that, and I don't believe that at all. But because the girls that were going out for wrestling were never going to go out for basketball. Like, that's just going to happen.
No.
There's some pretty good storylines going on in girls, it's been West Side and Grand Island the last few years, and now Norfolk's kind of in the thick of things. And then you have, Morgan Moshman out of Beatrice, who's kind of, I don't know if you want to say upset the apple cart. I mean, she was really good, but she put in a ton of work in the off season, and now has beaten Kaylin Harrell, who had won it as a freshman last year, and has also beaten Macy Peacher, who's going for 4 this year.
Right.
And so Morgan's wrestling 120, but I mean, in theory, she could go either one and basically thwart the dreams of someone, and then, I know Peacher's bumped up and wrestled Kaylin Lyons too, and that was 6-2 in favor of Lyons. So I mean, I think there's a lot of like suspense going on right now on the girls' side as far as like who's going to go where, and can Westside get everything lined up in time to maybe make a run at Norfolk at state, right? Because these tournaments where Norfolk has 14 really good wrestlers, but maybe only one or two state finalists compared to Westside maybe having 4. There's some good stuff happening. It's cool. It's been a good year for girls wrestling.
Yeah.
Just
Go ahead.
What's that?
Real quick, Nebraska and Penn State last Friday was an awesome atmosphere.
Yeah.
I know that Nebraska, the scoreboard didn't look great, but I mean, they fought every match.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, 125 was close. 141, Hardy probably should have won. And then Antrell just lost that one sequence, got put on his back. I mean, we could, could have, should have, would have, but realistically could have won the first 5 weights. Or
I was going to say Nebraska could have won from 25 to 57.
Yep.
I just know that I got home and I turned it on and I looked at the score. I was like, whoa. And then there was one match left and I watched it.
Not great.
That's bring, dude.
He's angry. He just wrestles so.
He's just nonstop.
I know,
dude.
He would be absolutely. You might just be misery wrestling that guy.
Yeah. Like he was up 13-3 with like a minute and a half left in the third period and just kept coming. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, this was
against the number 7 ranked wrestler in the nation.
He didn't slow down at all. And I was like, what do you even do?
Talk about a kid or a guy that just like, I don't know, like his brain's just wired a little differently, like thrives in that situation. It's pretty cool.
And he kind of came out of nowhere.
So it's not like a clean sweep of Penn State guys at nationals. But
I think they showed that they have some vulnerabilities.
They do.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, where are you going this week, Drew?
Lexington for the John Higgins. I think 4 or 5 of the top 10 in Class B will be out there, and my wife is from there, so we go out as a family, and then I do wrestling guilt-free all weekend, and that works out pretty good for me. We were gonna do the Millard South and Lincoln East duel tonight, but cold,
little chilly.
And Millard South has the UNK duels on Friday, and then they have Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday next week, I think, something like that. Yeah, they go to Tuesday's Creighton Prep in Columbus, which it's at Millard South, so you guys should go. And then Thursday they're going to Liberty, Missouri for that duel. And then, they have a tournament on the weekend, so they're not going to be able to reschedule Lincoln East and Millard South, I don't think. Yeah. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, that's not good.
And it's getting late in the season. It's hard to make up those duels.
Yeah, especially it's hard. Like weighing in Friday, Tuesday after 2 days of not wrestling on the weekend, Thursday, Friday or Saturday again, and travel into Kansas City for that duel. I mean, it's a big ask for these kids, especially when everyone's kind of feeling the effects of the season at this point.
Tuesday the 28th, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to do it different. They're going to do I'm going to get this wrong, but they're wrestling they're doing 2 mats, and they're intermingling, I think, varsity and JV, and they're doing half of the weights for varsity on one mat, and then I switching over. No, Coach Olson sent me a thing. He's like, "You're going to be able to do this?" So I'm like, "Yeah, we'll figure it out. It'll be a little different format, but I think that way, I think at some point there's one team is always wrestling, even though there's 3 teams in it."
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last time I went to Millard South Wrestling, I slammed that soda. Remember that, Chuck?
That was impressive.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you were on a giant sugar rush that night and hadn't slept very well.
Yeah, and I haven't had a soda since May 10th of 2024 now. So
dang.
Goose.
I had one at lunch today.
Yeah, I used to have about 3 or 4 a day.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that 2 to 3 range. Mountain Dew.
I'm on a no caffeine kick.
Mountain Drew.
Dr. U.
State wrestling's coming up. You got to have something.
Dude, chicken strips and Mountain Dew and adult beverages that week.
I've had last year's state wrestling. This is a total random story, but last year's state wrestling, the Saturday finals, or Saturday, I counted and I had 9 cans of soda that day.
Wow.
Literally before I left. So it gets over at, 7.
That's a lot, dude.
Yeah, I was just drinking it like water.
Dang, man.
I didn't get yelled at state once last year.
Yeah,
I was pretty proud.
Congrats.
Followed the rules.
Amazing.
Yeah.
A little bit of a troublemaker.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your NSWCA media person from one to another. Congratulations. Yeah. Chuck, surely you have one of those laying around.
No, there's a lot more people that are more deserving than me.
I'm
giving you a hard time.
All right. I did say this very publicly. This has Chuck's name on it, so I did.
Look at that.
It's not just my award.
A piece of you is on that award, Chuck.
Yes.
Mike owns a piece of me.
I do, and it's called your name.
It's my MCL. You own that. No, Mike, you really, really deserve it. You put in tons and tons of effort between going to basketball, high school basketball, college basketball, and wrestling. So, I mean, I don't know how you do it. Again, your wife's a saint. People that don't realize it, Mike's taking time away from his kids to cover your kids. So, that's a big sacrifice not a lot of people would be cool with. But, Mike, I appreciate everything you do for us.
Hey, man, I will say this once again, Mike. We wouldn't have the show if it wasn't for Chuck. I wouldn't have won that award if it wasn't for Chuck. So, and also like the help of NEWrestle, Drew, and you and Cody and everybody there has been very helpful if I have questions or don't know what I'm doing, those sort of things. And obviously having you guys, Drew, as part of our show has been very helpful for us to make.
We like doing it, man.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's kind of fun. So, all right. On that note, before we get too sappy over here, let's just end this show for tonight. What do you say?
Sounds good.
Oos. All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll be back next week. I got a note that I wrote down about a person that we want to maybe have as a guest next week. So we'll see if I can get that done. I think I know someone that can get that done for me. So
cliffhanger.
What?
So we're leaving them on a cliffhanger this
week. Yeah, we'll see. Like I think
it means they got to tune in next week now.
His name got brought up tonight, and I was like, I thought about that 2 weeks ago, actually. So we'll see. All right, thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back next week.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.